Hello folks, just a quick one. This seems to be doing the rounds, but this is a Cabinet Office response to an FOI request dated the 3rd of the 11th, 2019. So that's 3rd of November back in 2019. It's about an amendment to a memorandum that was circulated to ministers on the 18th of October 2019, but it says it remains strictly within the terms of the Official Secrets Act 1911 Section 1 and Official Secrets Act 1989 Prescription Order 1990, the 1990 order, and it concerns the following sections of the memorandum. So these sections of the memorandum have been put on the Official Secrets Act. So when we talk about NHS staff, frontline workers, all these people have signed into this Official Secrets Act. It's very possible that they're aware of this subject matter. Now, if that's the case, you need to start looking at these people with the eyes that you need to see them. These people are an enemy. They are an enemy to your health, your well-being. And as this memorandum is going to show you, the biggest operation that's going on at the moment is to destroy your trade, your ability to self-sufficiency. So it says, so we've gone through the Official Secrets Act, and this is claiming that the following is within the Official Secrets Act memorandum. So here we go. Section 5, 2020 to 2023. Key Treasury objectives for Treasury and Home Office consideration. Okay. Now it says 5B brackets I and 2. So it's I, okay. Damage to the wider economy is only achievable by imposing continuing measures to prevent trading amongst the commerce and service industries as a whole, regardless of the size of organisation. So that's your Cabinet Office setting out to damage the wider economy. Now, the wider economy means the economy that they don't have a direct control of, which is private enterprise, your shop, your barbers. You see, that's what the wider economy means. Now, they control the service economy because it's the city's economy, yeah? The wider economy is the economy that's yours, okay? And the only role they have is to tax you, to try and license you for the freedoms you already have in this nation to free trade, exchange and barter, okay? So there you go. That is a intent of the Treasury and Home Office, all right? To damage the wider economy, your enterprise. It is likely that strike action and more likely general public disorder will occur. So you can see that in 2019, as they were setting this out, they were ready for public disorder. Now, as I've said before in the last video, Trump was set to have 8 years because they thought it would take 8 years, A, to move this game in, but B, for Trump being right-wing to set up the police state, the military, etc., in order to deal with their expected public disorder. And as I've said, you've bent over, you're wearing your mask, you're just, it's ridiculous to see, actually, as a grown man, to see the nation just bending over to this garbage. That being the case, they're racing ahead with this. They don't need Trump for another 4 years. Biden's in, now it's going to get communist. You know, it's going to get shit. So there you go. It's a government, or rather Treasury and Home Office, to consider. And they've considered it, and we can see that they've enacted it as of January 2020. Now, it says, so the general public disorder will occur, which the government would struggle to crack down on without the necessary financial sweeteners, including generous benefit packages as proposed in Section 3A and 4 of the Memorandum, Emergency Financial Infrastructure. So there's a memorandum running around called the Emergency Financial Infrastructure. So first they get you to sack yourself off your employment contracts by forcing you to sign into furlough. So basically you sack yourself off all your... If you'd have all just sat back, use your own initiative, your mind, you'd have realised that, hang on a minute, They want me all of a sudden to sack myself. That's a breach of the contract I exist. If you'd have all just said, no, sorry, we're not going for that, they couldn't have shut down. Well, they could have shut down the businesses, but they would have had to have paid you your salary. You didn't do that. You all shit yourself because you're ignorant and you signed into this furlough, basically sacking yourself. So you can, now that's not in this little memorandum, but that is exactly the first thing they hit you with. Get you off your contracts and no longer obliged to give you anything apart from the offer of another contract, which was the furlough, etc. Okay, so that's the first move they made in order for the big corporate boys to protect themselves for what they were about to do in relation to manipulating your new contracts. Okay, you're wearing masks, you're doing this, you're dancing to that, you're dancing to this, you're obeying that, you're obeying this. You get me? You're less hours, less hours, less hours. I mean, they're all doing this now. You know, you're all on less hours now. So there you go. And it says, any such disorder will be discouraged by a public health campaign that will bring on board a mixture of health information, analysis and data presented by government and independent institutions. So that's your sage, your talking heads, talking bollocks with MIT science, funded, introduced, and then run by Epstein money. All right? So there are your independent institutions. Epstein science and the bodies created around that nonsense. Okay? So you can see this is a serious attack on the wider economy. Not the service economy that they control. Your private enterprise. Okay? And that they're going to sweeten this up by offering grants as they did. That signs you into the COVID contract as soon as you took the grants on, yeah? You're in the COVID contract. Because the police, as we have seen, are enforcing policy contract law while claiming... You see, the problem they've got is that when you get a warrant card, the warrant card is signed off by the chief constable to show that that man, male or female, holds the office of constable. Now, we know that the office of constable is governed by the 9 principles of law enforcement. Period. End of. The end. Okay? Let me give it to you in this way. What they're trying to say is, I'm a police officer. And what they're doing is trying to obfuscate they're playing with the idea that they hold the office of constable. And then pretending that that gives them the ability to call themselves officers. Does the Queen call herself Queen Officer? Does she? Have you seen that anywhere in any literature? No. Do you know why? Because she's called the monarch. Because she holds the office of monarch. The end. She is governed by the rules of that office. We know they've broken. The police are playing that very game and having you suck that up as though it's real. Because they're identifying as constables, but they're enforcing policy. They're doing business, contract law. If you're into that, if you've signed in, you're into the grants, etc., you are in that contract. All right. It says all ministers will be complicit in the publication of the health directives using public and private media organisations, paying them. You see? This is why you're only getting one script. It's all being paid for by you. You get me? This is what is going on. This is a major attack. This is war by deception, which is 99% of warfare. Okay? The names of considered independent institutions are outlined in section 11B and 11C of the memorandum. So they're even telling you who they control, who's in the pay. The proposed media organisations are outlined in section 11E. So there you can see from a Cabinet Office document response to a FOI request in 2019 is showing you that the entire game is about damaging the wider economy or damaging personal, private enterprise. And they've done that by deceiving you into shiting yourself and playing along. So you've signed onto the furlough, you've signed into the benefits and the grants, you contracted, you've consented. You have been blagged and consented. Do you understand what I'm saying there? That is exactly what's going on with this police acting as council enforcers, because it's the councils that have been drawing on these government guidelines, which have been extended till July now by these talking heads in Westminster, because this is the agenda, damaging the wider economy. The councils that you pay for, that they work for you, are going out hell-bent with the police, in sync with the judiciary, to destroy your private enterprise. And once it's damaged, it's never coming back. You're going to be left with the supermarkets, the big corporate boys that have took all the money from this entire event anyway, forcing their employees to suck shit. And you as customers, you're going in, you're giving this, you're giving that, you're doing this, you're doing that. If you don't, you can't go in. Can you see? That is the game. Quit. So if there's an outlet, you know, hell-bent on pushing this stuff, don't shop there anymore. Watch them change their mind in 10 minutes. You've got to remember, these big boys depend on you keep going to them in order that they can continue to have this power over their employees and over what you have to dance to go in and get a service from them, food, etc. You know, if there's one playing it bad, stop shopping. Watch it change. It'll change in 5 minutes. They're all about money. You haven't realised that you have that power because you're the one spending the money. You can decide where you spend it. And also, I'll say, they're getting very excited at the fact they're now up to £40 being spent by through this lockdown electronically. That will give them the go-ahead, the nod from you, the more you use your cards, to remove fiat currency and put a new exchange system in. All right, there's no currencies. You've got to see that. I've done it to myself because I was starting to just use my card. Stop. Luckily, my card wouldn't work. I'm back to cash. Draw your cash out, spend your cash. That way, they haven't got a clue what you're doing. They don't know anything about you because they can't follow your trail of what you purchase, where you go. You know, that again moves against this app system they're putting in. We've got a huge mast on Ironbin Road outside the Lidl that they've been playing with all week. Obviously, they're getting ready to turn it on. It's a huge monster, and the juice it takes is phenomenal. You've never seen the wire into that. I mean, I've worked on hospitals. You know, I used to build hospitals. You know, there's nothing about construction in that sense. I say, you want to see these cables going to that? That's some serious power, people. To one mast, you know. So, there we go. A plan. A plan. And everybody on frontline and government have signed the official Secrets Act. So you can't see this reality. So that's your MPs, it's your council, it's your police. Alright, it's any busybody that has a shop. You see, I'm in the Chamber of Trade, and just a certain small group within there for the last few years have been trying to pull the public, the private enterprise, in first to the Chamber of Commerce, anything to get it out of their own hands so that they can, it won't stand against this system. Well, I'm in the Chamber of Trade and I can see this now clearly. So I can now see who these 3 people are left now, because one died at the beginning of last year. But there's 3 people now, maybe more, because we haven't had a chamber meet since last year, that are working for the council in order to obfuscate this from you. So obviously they're getting more Pets Mean prizes than the rest of you. All right? So you've got to see it in these terms, people. There it is, clear as a bell. It's a government agenda to destroy the wider economy. That's yours. What is yours? And they have no claim on apart from charging your tax, licenses, rates, etc. So with that, I will shut my gob and say, till the next time.